Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. This week I'm showing you some of the items that I make for my craft fairs. Things that I've found have been really popular with people, not only for using themselves but to give as gifts, like teacher gifts or bus driver gifts, hostess gifts if they're going somewhere over the holiday season. And so I want to show you one of the sets that I make in all different papers. I use all different stamps and it's always popular. Now, if you like this series of things that I make for my craft fair, drop me a line, let me know, and I'll make sure I do one every month. I'll just dedicate 1 week every month and we'll make craft fair items that you can give as gifts, or if you're running a craft fair, you might want to copy some of the ideas too. So today and on Sunday's video, I'm going to show different ways to package cards. We all love making cards. We've all got lots of cards that we've made and haven't used maybe. And other people love to receive them, to have a stock in. I always give my mum and my mother-in-law a box of cards to use. I don't visit them very often. I don't see them more than once a year usually. But whenever I see them, I try and give them a box of cards so that they've got something at home. If they're not able to get outside to go to the store, doesn't matter. If it's a last minute birthday or an anniversary or a thank you card that they need, they've always got them. So this kind of a set of cards would be great for something like that. Or, as I said, a gift for a co-worker, a thank you to somebody special. It just means a little bit more because you've made it yourself. Now, I like to use the acetate boxes, and I always have a pack in. There's 10 in the box, and here in Canada they cost $9.50 before shipping and GST. But they're really amazing. They come flat packed, and all you do is you just bend on the folds that are already scored and it pops up to make a box. Then you just fold these in, fold this over, fold it inside, and you've got an easy box. I tend to put a little glue dot. Let me show you on here. I don't know if the camera will pick it up too well. I put a little glue dot so that this bottom piece doesn't come undone. It doesn't usually come undone, but I found that at the craft fair, if people were fiddling about with the boxes, then it would easily come undone. So I've started putting just a little glue dot on each of these at the bottom. And I always make sure that the folded flap is on the back. Now, what I used this time was some paper from the new holiday catalogue, and it's called Brightly Gleaming Speciality Designer Series paper. When it says speciality, it usually means that it's something a little bit different from Stampin' Up. It's one of their thicker papers, and it will have gold foiling on, or it will have glitter and glimmer, or something just a bit different. And this one has copper foiling. Yeah, this has got copper stars on it. And it's a pack of 12 sheets, and you get 2 of every sheet. So if I turn them over and see, you can see that side doesn't have any glimmer on, just on the one side the glimmer. And you get 2 of 6 double-sided designs. I love this one. This is the one I nearly used. It's got the stars on the back. Let me find the one that goes with it, so I've got them together. There we go. And then this one is really pretty too, with the copper foiling on the back. Now, this side hurts my eyes a little bit, but I've seen some projects already where people have used it, and in a smaller piece, it's wonderful. It's just when I look at that whole sheet, it makes my eyes go a little bit wobbly. Okay. This is one of my favourites. This with the holiday decorations on, and it actually matches a stamp set and 2 punches. So I haven't used the stamp set yet, I haven't used the punches yet, but it matches these. And let me just pop those on one side. It is a whole suite. There are other things available as well, but at the moment I only have the stamps, the punches and the paper. But actually I only use the paper for these cards. Pretty, pretty. And then this is the sheet I used. It has this like mosaic kind of pattern on the back, like a tessellating pattern with the copper in between, and the Knight of Navy and Pretty Peacock on the back. And I only used one sheet. When I'm making things to give as gifts or to use at my craft fair, I really don't want to be using more than one sheet of a speciality paper. If it's because it's for a craft fair, you'll find that your profits are lower if you use more than one good sheet. So I always try and find a way that I can use one sheet, but it looks like I've used a lot. I'm not talking about doing a one-page wonder kind of a thing, a one-sheet wonder. I'm just cutting and using it a little bit judiciously. Now, let me take the little belly band off. I will tell you all the sizes for the things I've made, and I'm going to make one of the cards with you. Sometimes I'll make 4 cards all the same. Sometimes I'll do all different but using the same paper. And I can't remember how many cards Stampin' Up say to put in here. Let me just check. I think it's 5. I know I've got the page. Oops, not that page. I know I've got the page here. So they say 5 4¼ by 5½ inch cards with envelopes. It will fit that many, but I've found that if you've got lots of embellishments, or like this where I've got things up on dimensionals, 5 can be just a little bit tight. And I don't want people to take cards out and rip them or anything. So I tend to just put 4 in. Okay, and these are the ones that I've made already. So I've used very vanilla, just the thick card, not the ordinary cardstock, but the thicker one. And it's cut at 8½ by 5½, scored at 4¼ so we've got a basic card size. And this fits brilliantly in the box. It's just the right size. Okay, let me just pop that over there. And these are the ones I've made already. I'm using a stamp set that is from the Winter Woods. Let me see if I've just got that here. Must be somewhere because I've only just been making them. So it's this one, Thinking of You This Season. I didn't want anything too holiday Christmassy. I wanted it to be sort of different colours and a sentiment that would appeal to maybe more people. So it doesn't have to be, you know, holly jolly Christmas. But just thinking of you this season, that's a nice card and a nice sentiment. So that's the sentiment I used. And then I used this doily shape. And this is from the Beautiful Promenade set. It's the dies that go with this set. You can see it also has an envelope liner cutter as well. But if you want to put, let me see, where's my envelopes? Just under here. If you want to put it on the envelope like this, or if you want to put it inside. And I think really it's better for inside because it's just got that nice little edge all the way around it. So I do use that sometimes, but I love this doily. And what you do need to do though, because it's got lots and lots of little pieces, is I find that if I'm cutting out something thick like the gold, like the copper foiled card, I need to use my little brush to get it out. Now Stampin' Up sell the little brush attachment that goes on our take your pick tool instead. I don't actually have it yet, I'm still using this. I will be buying it, but at the moment I'm still using this, and you just rub along with it on your like little foamy mat and all the pieces will come out. And that's quite a time saver, because otherwise if you're trying to poke all these little pieces out, it takes forever. So here are the cards that I've made already. They're all the same kind of theme. It's the same colours, the same sentiment, and I've used this same doily. Some of them I've used a whole doily, others I've only used half a doily. On the belly band I used a whole one. And I've also used this very vanilla lace ribbon. It's really, really pretty. It's very fine, very detailed, and it looks really nice on the cards. It goes great with this pretty peacock colour. So they're the ones I've made already, and I'm going to make just one more. It won't be the same as any of these, it'll be similar, but I don't want to put 4 the same in. So let me show you what I did. I've got my basic card that I showed you a moment ago, and then I cut, here are all my little pieces, I cut a 4-inch strip off the DSP. I actually cut the whole piece into 3 4-inch strips. So they were 4 inches by 12 inches. And then what I did was I trimmed so that these pieces were, oops, let me just get that right, were 5 by 4. So it's just a 1/4 inch smaller than the card. On 3 of them, I cut a 1.5 inch strip. On the 4th one, I cut it down the middle because I just wanted to have a horizontal card that was a little bit of a different sizing. Okay. But the majority of them, I've just cut a 1.5 inch strip, and the other strip I'm going to turn over and have at the other side. Let me just move those because I think they're going to fall off otherwise. Okay. Now, to attach the little piece of ribbon, what I did on all of them was I attached it onto this piece. I didn't attach it onto the pretty peacock one because I wanted to attach it so that you couldn't see the very edge where it was glued. But I've got all of them so that the ribbon looks like it's on the pretty peacock side. So what I did with that was I used tear and tape down the side. Now what I'm going to do is just choose which way I want these before I attach my ribbon, and see if I want to have them this way. I might have another horizontal card. I've already got the one, but I think I might do them this way. So because I want the ribbon to show up on this piece, I'm going to put the tape on the back of this piece. It will make sense when you see it. So just the tear and tape. And I found that if you use tear and tape with the ribbons, if you haven't got them quite how you want them, it's easy to remove them. If you are sticking them down with, a stronger glue, then it's very difficult to remove them and move them around if you haven't got them quite straight. I have found that the liquid glue isn't the best either to attach them with, because the ribbon can get quite wet and it doesn't always dry flat again. Sometimes I found it's a bit crinkly. Now what I'm doing is I'm using the very edge here, and I'm putting that on the very edge of the DSP. This will be a little bit long. Okay, so it's on there. But if you haven't got it straight, see how easy it is to move? So that's why I like the tear and tape for this. I'm just looking at the front to check that I haven't got any of that edging showing. Okay, and then I'm just going to chop this off. Now, when you cut these pieces down from your 4 by 12 inch strip, keep the little bits that you cut off. And I'll show you why in a moment or two. Okay, I'm going to attach this to my paper. And I want the blue side. I was worried then, I thought I'd got it, I was going to put the glue on the wrong side. just going to use my bone folder just to smooth that out. And then I'm going to put it on the card, and I'm going to leave a little border all the way around. You know that it's going to have a 1/4 inch border altogether. So you can gauge that the left, the right and the top are all the same distance between. I'm going to put some more adhesive on here. You don't need to put any more on top of the ribbon. It will just hold on that. And then we're going to put this on so that this top edge, the lace goes over the blue, but the card itself only butts up to the blue card. It's not going to overlap. What you could do if you're worried about having things lined up, you could cut one of the papers a little bit longer, and then even just a 1/4 inch, and then what you can do is line it up from the bottom here, and it doesn't matter if you haven't got it quite straight. But I've done this lots of times, and I find it's quite easy. As long as I've got this top piece lined up and nice and even, it's easy to butt this piece up and join them. If you don't have a piece of ribbon in there, maybe I would have a 1/4 inch overlapping so that you didn't see any of the card underneath if you hadn't got it quite straight. Okay, so that's our basic card. And when you look now, you can see that all the cards were made like this. So they've all got the ribbon onto the blue piece, and it's attached under the patterned paper. Okay, now I've already stamped the sentiment that I showed you, and I've cut it out just with one of my layering ovals. And then with Night of Navy, I cut out the matching scallop. And you can see that when you put the two together, you get just a little scallop showing. If you want more than that, either choose a smaller oval or a bigger scallop. I only wanted a little bit to show. So you can see I only have just like the little flowery part showing. Okay, so that's going to be for there. This is the last half of the copper foil doilies that I had, and I'm going to attach that just to there, but I'm only going to put glue on the back here. I don't want all of the doily to be sticking down. I like it to be sort of free flowing. Okay, so that's that. And then for this, I'm going to attach it here, and I'm going to put dimensionals on the back. And I only put 3 on. I don't put tons and tons. I find that 3 is just perfect for this size. If you were going over a ribbon and you didn't want to stick onto the ribbon, you could put dimensionals top and bottom and leave the middle blank so that the ribbon was in there. That works especially if it's a bit thicker ribbon. But of course this is quite thin, quite fine, and so, you know, it doesn't make a difference. Okay, so that's the 4th card made. Once you've got all your pieces cut, you can see I normally have all my bits done, I have all the stamping done, and I usually have them adhered onto here. I have the paper all cut, and sometimes I'll cut the ribbon, sometimes I do the ribbon as I go along. But I have everything ready, and then it's just a matter of mass producing a card. Okay, so here are our 4. And you remember I said about saving those little scraps? What I've done is I've used them on the envelopes, just to make the envelopes match. You can see that they're different thicknesses, different sizes. Here I had 2 tiny strips that I've put together. It's just nice to be able to use those pieces. Okay, now the next thing we'll need is the belly band. I'm just going to let me pop these into the box so that you can see. I'll put the envelopes at the back. So if people turn over, they can see that that matches. I'll pop them into the box. I'll just make sure that the flap's at the back, yeah. Okay, so that's those into there. And fold those over. And then I'm going to fold this part, and I'm just going to crease it a little bit because it hasn't been folded and tucked in yet. And you can see it's not actually tucked in yet, but it already just stays down. Okay, so then with your last piece of DSP, we're going to make the belly band. And because I've already made this, let me show you on another piece of card. This isn't actually 12 inches. It's only an 11.5-inch piece. But what I do is I turn it so that I'm looking at the back of the box. I place the paper or the card on. And then I just fold these pieces up and over. Now the 12-inch piece that you have, it will just have a little bit more of a wrap over. And I leave that wrap over at the front. So then I glue those, and then if people are looking, it hasn't got that line at the back. It doesn't look like you've attached two pieces of paper or anything because your line is at the front. And what I did here, because I needed a little bit of it still for the envelopes, I should have had enough, but I lost a piece somewhere and I couldn't find it. So what I did was I cut my 4-inch piece, but actually mine was 3 3/4 because I'd stolen a little bit. But you can cut your 4-inch piece, or if you want it just this width, do it at 3 3/4. And it would, on mine, it was 12. This piece was 2 1/4, and this piece was 1 1/2. There's no actual formula for doing that. You just do however thick you think, or however wide you think you need it. I wanted mine to have the ribbon and just have the same kind of gap at either side, or the same kind of border. So after I'd done this and folded it over, I stuck it over the box. Don't do it too tight, else it makes it difficult to slide on and off. Okay. And then I just did the same as I'd done on the cards. I glued down a doily, and then I used one of the sentiments, put it on the blue backing, put that on as well. But I didn't put this on dimensionals because it was already standing proud of the box. It's already thick enough. And that's my boxed set of cards ready to go. The only thing I need to put on these are my name, and because it's Stampin' Up products, one of the angel policy stamps on the back, just to say that it's Stampin' Up. If you're giving this as a gift, there's no need to do that at all. But because I would be selling it, I need to put the angel policy on. Now, if you've liked any of the products I've used and you live in Canada and would like to order any of them, don't forget, if you go to my store, to use the August host code. And you can find my store on both on Crafts by the Bow, the blogspot, and on the Facebook, Diane Hutchinson, Crafts by the Bow. If you have any questions or any queries, or you need to know something else about the acetate boxes and how I've wrapped them, my blog will have the sizings on and the details of what I used. I will put the actual items I used and the code for the catalogue so you know where to find it. But if you have any other questions, please just ask. If you've liked the video, if you've enjoyed watching it, please put a thumbs up, even share with a friend. That would be wonderful. So thank you again for watching, everybody, and I'll see you all again on Sunday for a different way of wrapping up cards for a gift. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.